conferences to ensure all structures of the organization are in good standing in terms of the ANC's constitution. The NWC urged everyone in South Africa to take extra care to abide by the non-medical interventions such as wearing masks, social distancing, avoiding gatherings and hand hygiene to prevent another deadly wave of the pandemic as we have entered a very cold winter season. The NWC welcomed progress with the rollout of vaccines and urged government to speed up this process. The NWC reiterated support for government's strategy of acquiring vaccines from multiple sources and welcomed the approval of the WHO, the World Health Organization, for approving the Sinovac vaccine and indications are that the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, SAPRA, will be expediting its approval within the applicable legal prescripts. We commended the ongoing efforts by President Ramaphosa to broaden support to achieve a temporary waiver of the trade-related aspects of intellectual property agreement at the WTO to ensure equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines. This will enable countries to manufacture their own vaccines and pave the way for the development of a local pharmaceutical manufacturing industry in our own country and on our continent. We commended the efforts of ANC structures to assist and support older citizens who have responded to the call to have themselves vaccinated. June is recognized as Youth Month in collective remembrance of the sacrifices made by the brave and militant class of 1976. This generation of young people played a critical role in laying the foundation of the freedom we enjoy today. In this regard, the NWC also reflected on the continued challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality faced by our youth. The NWC called on both the public and private sector to continue rolling out initiatives geared towards youth empowerment, consistent with the proclamation by former President Oliver Tambo, "The children of any nation are its future. A country, a movement, a person that does not value its youth and children does not deserve a future." We further commended the continued and visible efforts by the NYTT to build a vibrant and dynamic ANC Youth League as evidenced by a number of campaigns it is carrying out. We welcome the reaffiliation of the ANC Youth League to the International Union of Social Youth, IUSY. The IUSY brings together socialist, social democratic, labor, and political youth organizations from around the world. This is an important development in the rebuilding process of the Congress Youth League and in asserting international solidarity as a pillar of our struggle. This will also create a platform for the ANC Youth League to echo South Africa's position against imperialism during a time of a global pandemic with certain countries who want to promote vaccine nationalism. In preparing to celebrate the 66th anniversary of the adoption of the Freedom Charter on 26 June 1955, we emphasize that the values and objectives enshrined in the Constitution find their genesis in the Freedom Charter and other seminal texts of our movement. Accordingly, members of the ANC must live according to the values of respect for humanity, equality, selfless service, and adherence to the rule of law. We once again reiterated the position of the NEC that all ANC members have a historic responsibility to respect, uphold, and advance our country's constitution. We must ensure that we do not do anything that places the constitution at risk. Pride Month. June is also recognized as International Pride Month to celebrate the LGBTQI+ community who continue to bear the brunt of brutal killings, violence, and discrimination. While South Africa is one of the leading countries in protecting the rights of the queer community, we still have a long way to go as a society. The NWC applauded the work done by the ANC Women's League in celebrating International Pride Month and called upon all ANC structures and the whole of society to support Pride Month programs in their communities. We welcome the fact that ANC branches have held over 3,000 BBGMs and have started selecting candidates for local government election. The manner in which the ANC structures have embraced the involvement of communities is commendable. This assists in selecting the best candidate to be the ANC public representative at this critical sphere of local government. The process, as outlined in the ANC local government candidate selection guidelines after the holding of the ANC branch meeting, include the following steps. Firstly, a community meeting where the candidates nominated by the ANC are presented and where the community can also nominate additional candidates as long as they are members of the ANC. A community primary vote on the nominated ANC candidate for the ward will then take place. The NWC commended the Northern Cape for holding a successful provincial conference under COVID-19 restrictions. We commended Comrade Khalima Motlanti in partnership with the Andrew and June Mlangeni Foundation and the UNISA for leading a wreath-laying ceremony and delivering the inaugural Andrew Mlangeni Memorial Lecture on the 6th of June 2021. The NWC noted and supported the establishment by the IEC of an inquiry into ensuring free and fair local government elections during COVID-19, which is chaired by former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke. The NWC supported the ANC submission, reaffirming the decision of the NEC that local government elections should proceed within the timeframes provided for in the constitutional and the law, unless it is objectively impossible for this to happen. We reaffirmed our conviction that voters have a right to elect a new government every 5 years, and that this fundamental principle in our Constitution should not be tempered with unless there is no other option. We have been reliably informed, and happily so, that the Road Accident Fund, for the first time in decades, has shown a surplus of 3.2 billion. The NWC commended the efforts being made by the ANC-led government to turn around and rebuild state institutions. With regard to the Northwest, we resolved that in response to the deteriorating situation in the Northwest, we would meet with the Interim Provincial Committee and ANC structures throughout that province this coming weekend to outline interventions required to help stabilize the organization as well as the provincial and local government in that province. With regard to MK Veterans Unity Process, the NWC reiterated its position that as mandated by the National Executive Committee, efforts be stepped up to ensure a unity conference of all Umkhonto weSizwe veterans ahead of the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the formation of MK in December, will be held in December 2021. The NWC supported the steps taken by the SGO to engage the leadership of MK Military Veterans Association and the MK National Council regarding the implementation of the decision that both MK-MVA and MK National Council should consider dissolving and participating in a preparatory committee for a unity conference led by retired generals and other former senior MK commanders. The NWC supported the proposal by the national officials that the preparatory committee for a unity conference of MK veterans should consist of Zakes Msimang, Keith Mkwape, Jackie Sidibe, Jenny Schreiner, Nswaki Segashe, Lucy Ramashodi, and Zolile Nwase to appoint, and that each MKMVA and the MK National Council appoint 2 persons each to participate in the preparatory committee. The NWC called upon members of both of these structures to conduct themselves with a discipline befitting the ANC members and ex-combatants, and to implement the decisions of the NEC and the NWC. I would like to add, as well as a conference decision, that there must be a united MK Veterans Association of all MK veterans throughout the country. We further condemned attacks on individuals who implement their work and the decisions of the ANC. The officials will meet both structures as soon as is possible. The NWC was unambiguous in its support for the provisions of the Constitution of the Republic that the Defence Force is the only lawful military force in the Republic, and that other than the security services established in terms of the Constitution, armed organizations or services may only be established in terms of national legislation. In affirming the central role played by MK veterans in the struggle, we urged government to expedite the processes led by the Deputy President of the country and the ANC to address the plight of military veterans and to ensure the access benefits available for former combatants. With regard to the Integrity Commission and Comrade Zweli Mkhize, we welcome the decision by Comrade Zweli Mkhize to present himself to the Integrity Commission in line with the resolution of the 54th National Conference. The NWC rejected any insinuation that investigations by law enforcement agencies in general and the SIU in particular have been influenced by factors other than those provided for in the law. Investigations by the SIU are initiated at the request of government departments or other state institutions. They are formally proclaimed by the President once due legal processes have been followed. We welcome the efforts by the ANC-led government to strengthen law enforcement agencies to allow for swifter identification and prosecution of corruption and fraud, and the assurance that there will be no political interference whatsoever in the work of these agencies. We noted that the urgent application brought by the suspended Ace Magashula against the President and the DSG and the ANC will be heard on the 24th and 25th of June before a full bench of the High Court in Gauteng. The NWC reiterated its support for the steps taken to oppose the application. The NWC discussed various international matters in the context of our commitment to building a better Africa and a better world. On Western Sahara, we expressed support for DIRCO's efforts and SADC region for hosting a very successful solidarity conference with the people of Western Sahara and encouraged them to intensify the implementation of the outcomes of the conference. On Palestine, we welcome the expressions of solidarity with the people of Palestine by ANC structures and civil society and call on all progressive forces to continue pressure to ensure realization of Palestinian people's right to self-determination, dignity, peace, and freedom in the context of an ANC conference resolution. The ANC will continue to remain alert to the possibility of South Africa assisting in facilitating a breakthrough to achieve a solution between the people of Palestine and Israel. On Ethiopia and the situation with the Tigray people, the NWC notes with concern that the situation has unfolded since last year and welcomes the engagement by the International Committee with various stakeholders on the matter. On Mozambique, we welcome the intervention of SADC to assist the country to find a peaceful and lasting solution to the challenges facing our neighbors to the north. And this is a very important member state of SADC. We have expressed condolences and we dip our revolutionary banner in honor of the following cadres and loyal veterans and patriotic South Africans: Reverend O.J. Tselapidi, Professor Vishnu Padiachi, Sitole Mshudulu, and Ma Olive Yengeni, mother of Comrade Tony Yengeni, iconic South African actress Charlene Sirti Richards, Sundowns Football Club spokesperson Tulani Tusa, and Mutswading FM presenter Boitumelo Mueti. Thank you very much for your attention and your time. Good day.
Thank you very much. What we'll be doing is that the DSG and other NEC members throughout the week going forward will also be dealing with a number of specific issues, DSG including the Pan-African Parliament.
Yes.
And all other developments. You may want to just express our view around the Pan-African Parliament.
Yes, I would indeed. Thank you very much, Comrade Pule. The ANC endorses and supports the view held that the AU principle of rotation is a very important principle. And in this regard, we would
All right, we seem to be losing that feed that's coming out there from the National Working Committee. ANC Deputy Secretary-General Jessie Duarte was briefing the media following that meeting that happened over the past 2 days. We'll have more of this when we return. Stay with us. All right, let's continue with more of our top stories that we are following with you. But obviously, we will come back to this top story and give you some analysis. We've got our reporters who are on the ground, and they will give us some analysis in terms of what are the main key outcomes that came out of that briefing that was read out by the National Working Committee. Onto this now. South Africa's hospitalizations due to COVID-19 are likely to increase as more provinces enter the third wave, putting a strain on bed capacity. Research scientists say Gauteng is most concerning as hospital admissions have shot up by 30% week on week. More deaths and over 2,500 cases per day have been reported over the past week. Gauteng accounts for 54% of the country's total infection rate. SABC News senior reporter Criselda Lewis and cameraman Herbert Mamela visited one of the province's district hospitals where admissions have increased.
So from April last year,